Hey, this is Josh from Streamline Retail, and today we're going to continue in our series of making this the most successful holiday season that your business has ever seen. By now, I don't need to tell you this is important. We are in the midst of the big holiday rush. I know it's not Thanksgiving yet, but it's still going on and going strong, and I hope that this has already been a great time of year for you. We have covered the marketing strategies that you can do to grow your business and how you can engage your customers in store and online and the way that we can bring more people through your doors. We talked about inventory planning and the way that you can choose the kinds of items to bring into your store through the holiday year and what it looks like to prepare for that on a monthly and weekly basis per category. If you haven't seen those videos, I do encourage you to check those out. Today, what I want to do is talk about the user experience through the holidays. You know, the theme that I've brought up a few times that's so important to know is that your shopper changes from the rest of the year going into the holidays, meaning that we go from your normal customer, who you would consider your ideal customer, to gift buyers. And that really changes who you're marketing towards. And I think that it's going to be important that you really take a step back and you look at the entire experience of how someone engages your brand to grow revenue through this season. First, I want to encourage brick and mortar and online retailers, if you have both of those sales channels, start to approach them both one and the same. If someone's on your website and someone visits your store, do they feel disconnected? Does it really feel like a completely different experience, or does it feel one and the same? A great place to start here is by doing a web audit. And what I mean by that is taking a step back and really reviewing how does our brand message come across online. So one of the things that you can do is what I like to call the 5-second test. This is nothing new to anyone who's been involved with e-commerce, but this is a way that you can take a step back and really evaluate the way people engage your online brand. So what I recommend is find a friend that isn't a customer, they don't know a ton about your retail business, and pull your website up. Open it up and count to 5 with them looking at your website and not getting to scroll. And then close your computer after you've counted to 5. And then you want to ask, what do we do? What makes us unique? Why would you shop with us? Why wouldn't you shop with us? That section that I talk about is what's called above the fold. And that means that when someone visits your site, it's the first thing that they see, it's the first thing they engage in your brand. Your website should tell a story without scrolling, whether it's mobile or on a computer. Either way, the fold remains the same, and it's that main thing that tells your story. One of the mistakes that a lot of retailers make is they get so obsessed with design, with gorgeous photos, with gorgeous design, and I understand why, but they lose focus on the user experience. And at the end of the day, your goal is selling merchandise. So you could have all the beautiful photos in the world, but not sell anything. And I think it's your user experience that could cause that. And so if you have to pick, obsess over experience. I know my wife, and if I visit an e-commerce store, that headline's gonna tell me, do people like my wife shop here? And if they don't, I'm gone. I'm not gonna browse around and look at products. I'm gonna get an idea from the homepage. So by really taking a step back and evaluating the user experience that you have online, you really get to figure out who's gonna be buying with you and market to them specifically from that one thing that they're gonna see when they visit your site. So the audit is a huge thing, obsessing over user experience. And the last thing to remember is mobile is all that matters. Google recently switched their SEO, search engine optimization, to look only at the mobile version of your website. So this means that your website needs to be responsive, it needs to look gorgeous on a mobile device, and it needs to work on a mobile device. Some small things to look for is, how do the buttons function? How does your menu work? Have you ever been on a website and you're like clicking this down arrow, and every time you click it, it goes back up and you can't navigate anywhere? If you have that site, you're losing out on sales. And lastly, people on e-commerce sites that are on their mobile devices don't create accounts. They want to check out as a guest. Make sure that that option is loud and clear, that they don't have to go do something and check their email and confirm. No one wants to do that from their mobile device. What might be easy on a computer is much harder on your mobile device. So that's the online piece. From the brick and mortar side, it really is the same thing. How do people, when they walk into your store or when they walk by, get an easy glimpse of your brand, what you represent, and your competitive advantage? So some easy ways to do this is, one, it's hard to get a friend to do this for you, but really I don't know if you've ever heard the term like being, too familiar with the story. If you tell the same story over and over again, if you have kids and you read the same book every single night like I do, eventually I have to remember that my kid engages these stories new every day. Just like your customer. Every time they walk into your store, it's a new experience. You go in there every day and it's easy for it just to be the same familiar thing. But try to take a step back and walk into your store and see, how does someone who's never heard of this business, who's here shopping for their friend, how do they see our store? My wife's birthday was recently and I went shopping for some clothes for her. And I noticed that a lot of the apparel stores, all the merchandise was stacked together, one after the next, and I couldn't see them. And honestly, as a guy, it's hard for me to see from the outside what's worth grabbing and looking, oh, this might actually be her. But where stores had things facing outward. And there were easy ways for me to get an idea of, okay, this is her style, this fits her. How is your store merchandise where someone can see that this particular item fits the person that they're buying? At a glance, if they walk around and they don't pick up anything, can they navigate to the things that might be important to the person that they're buying a gift for? Getting fresh eyes, taking a new perspective to your user experience in your store, I really think that you can increase revenue because you're gonna be able to draw people's attention to things that otherwise might get missed in a really busy, too full rack. And then the last thing to consider is, what does the checkout experience look like? As you are already offering a great customer experience, you're greeting them 30 seconds after they walk in the door, and you're offering to start a dressing room for them so their hands aren't full while they're walking around. Those things that are happening, they're gonna leave with an impression of your business purely based on how you check them out. So consider, what customer information do you really need to get? You wanna retarget them, so you want their email. Do you really need their address? Do you need them to put all that information in? Is there a way where you could have them type it in themselves? That stuff stays on time. People like the control, and it leaves your staff able to, while they're putting their info, they can start wrapping the merchandise, because hopefully you are offering a good experience with what they're walking out with. So consider your checkout and how easy do you make it. If your technology is outdated or you can't check people out quickly, consider going into this next year, what technology changes do you need to make to be able to offer that experience? I love the holidays, and I love the approach that people can take where they can grow their businesses, one, to gift buyers, but also to gift receivers. And it's a huge way to grow revenue. Obviously, it's the time of year that you get to do that anyway, and you get to bring new people into your doors. I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope you've enjoyed this series. We're gonna keep putting out stuff every Friday. If you have questions or comments, comment below. We try to answer every single question. Feel free to reach out on our website at streamlineretail.com. Thanks for watching. Do remember, subscribe to our channel. We talk a ton about retail. We'll talk to you soon.